Hello and welcome to day 6 of the Amplify Her 10-10 event. We have been going 5 days strong. I was going to say 10 days. We still have 4 days left. We are on day 6. I'm so excited. It's all about avoiding procrastination. And I believe if you've been a part of this event, you have so many tools in your tool bag, from making a plan to knowing what your goals are, how to follow through. We've had people come on running marathons and just doing everything in between. So today is no different, because I have two powerhouses that are backstage today to help you when it comes to avoiding procrastination. And like every day, I've had a verse that comes to mind for each topic. And today's is, "Come now, you who say tomorrow, today or tomorrow will go to this or that city, spend a year there, carry on business and make a profit. You do not even know what will happen tomorrow." That's James 4:13 through 14. And it's so encouraging because we are talking about doing those things that you can do today and avoiding procrastination. So first up, we have a powerhouse. Farheen, welcome to the stage. Can you tell us just a little bit about you for those that may not have connected with you before, and a little bit about why you're excited to help us avoid procrastination today?
Thank you so much, Erica. I'm really excited, and the reason I am excited today because this is one of the things that I have personally gone through, and the strategies and the realization I had, I would love to share with the audience. So the little bit about myself is I'm a Sydney-based entrepreneur, and I have online businesses, and I also run engineering consultancy business. By education, I'm an electrical and telecommunications engineer, but I love helping people empower them through my business coaching sessions. And that's what I love doing. And procrastination is the part of it, because a lot of people don't get started or they're stuck in the business. When I sit with them and I ask them questions, it comes around like, okay, you are procrastinating. Why you haven't got started yet? You are an aspiring entrepreneur. You have those skills. You have the money. You have that, intention to get started. Well, what is getting you stuck? I don't know. It's just procrastination.
Yes, and that's something I believe so many people can relate to. I'm going to bring up our next guest, Lindsay, because Lindsay's like nodding her head, like, absolutely, I can relate. So, welcome yet another powerhouse to help us tackle procrastination today. Lindsay, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much, Erica, for having me.
Yes, I'm excited to have you here and would love to know, for those that may not have connected with you before, can you tell us just a little bit about yourself and why you want to help us avoid procrastination today?
Yes. So my name is Lindsay Burnett, and I am an executive coach and an HR consultant. I've worked in the corporate world and with growing startups for the last couple decades. And I think I also have a upcoming book called Working Hell to Working Well, Making Your Company Work for You. And I think for me, what I see a lot of is people often procrastinate on their well-being. And so that is where I would love to help your audience find ways to, really just make those little steps to find their path to their best selves.
I love that. And I think it's so important. I love that you talked about procrastinating on our well being, because a lot of times we have these long to do lists. We have all of these things. And I feel like some of our other speakers spoke on this, starting with just your spiritual well-being, your mental well-being, all of those things, because you can't show up in any capacity if you're not well, if you're not even able to carry it through. And I know many of us have been guilty of that, where you're so overwhelmed. The reason you're procrastinating, you can't even put your finger on it, because you haven't taken that time to take care of yourself or your surroundings and those things that are at the core. So I want to first just start with a habit, from either, well, actually, I'll go through both of you, but what is something that you found, maybe it's a habit or something that you've implemented that's helped you to avoid procrastination or limit your procrastination? And let's start with you, Lindsay, because I feel like you have
Yeah.
something right there to say.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I try to do is think about what is the littlest thing I can do to create that habit. So, for example, one of the habits that I really try to foster for myself is morning meditation and morning yoga. And there are days where, there's no way I'm going to be able to get 40 minutes in to do all that I want to do. And so for me, I just try to say, you know what? I have 3 minutes. What can I do in 3 minutes that still honors that habit versus where I find sometimes with procrastination, we're like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. But if we can really support the frequency of the habit and loosen a little bit on the standard of excellence, we are probably less likely to procrastinate.
Yes, and I can't remember who said this, but one of our former speakers, we were talking about that, the compound effect and doing those little things because that's what's going to build in that consistency. And another favorite verse that I think about too is when you're faithful over little, you'll soon become ruler over much. So it's like you said, Lindsay, not being so overwhelmed by feeling like we have to do 1,000 things. Can we steward and just be faithful over that little action because it's going to lead to so much more? Farheen, I feel like you have something powerful for us. So what's something that you've been implementing that's helped you to avoid procrastination?
I think that was a deep realization that hit me because whatever I was doing, I got myself busy, like, doing the laundry, doing the dishes and all that, but not actually doing the stuff that can get me the results in my business. So as a business coach, I talk a lot about it. So I talked to myself and I was sitting the day like, why am I not getting the results? The reason was I was not taking action. And I was not taking action because there was kind of like a fear. And then I relate myself to my goal, that what am I trying to achieve through my business? What these results are going to help me with? And then I realized, oh my God, if it is that important to me, so rather than procrastinating and get myself busy, I get help from someone and start taking action, doing the stuff that is important today and that can get me the results in my business. And I see a lot of entrepreneurs doing the same thing, because the deep realization was, is your goal is important enough to you or not? Or you're just getting started just for the sake of getting started? Is it a wishful thought, or you're really wanting to achieve something in your life? So that was a really a real life hit on deep in my heart. And then it helped me and I start taking action. I got the help. And then now I'm pretty organized in that. Like Lindsay said, I got just 3 or 4 minutes in the morning. I have a baby. So I get things done, like the most important one, just in the morning, so that the rest of the day, if it's something happens, so I'm already in a safe zone, that I have done the most important thing. I've taken the most important actions that can keep moving my business.
I absolutely love that example. And it reminds me of another favorite book of mine, Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy, where he talks about, if you're familiar with it, if you're not, it's a great book. So go find it and read it. But he talks about, like, if you take care of the worst thing that you're going to do for the worst thing, for the day, at the top of the day, then everything else is smooth sailing, how you just broke down. And so a lot of times it's like eating that frog, prioritizing what's the needle moving thing that we need to do, because we all are guilty of that. Farheen, we're organizing the sock drawer for the 400th time. We are finding everything to do except make that phone call that we know we need to make, or work on that thing that's really going to, shift our lives. And so have you experienced a time, either of you, where maybe you did procrastinate on something and you finally got that push to just do it and it paid off for you, or just kind of what the experience was when you decided to avoid procrastination? Whichever one of you, something stands out for you. I can think of a lot of things.
No, look, I again, going back to my business, like initially when I started one of my online ventures, and one of the things that obviously calling to the clients, calling to the prospects, right? And giving them the information about, the product and services that I have, and just sharing the knowledge. It was just about sharing the knowledge. It's not even about selling the product. And I had so much fear of talking to the people that I was just procrastinating it. Like, okay, I'll just send one call today and then I'll speak to him tomorrow, or maybe I'll not gonna talk to this person because I didn't like him or her, and then I'll talk to. So I was not getting the results, like I said earlier, like, and I got frustrated that, oh my God, I'm pushing my, like, in my head, I'm pushing myself because there was a lot of fear inside of talking to the people. And in my head, I was like, I'm pushing myself. I'm not getting the results. I'm not even making a single penny out of it. I'm not growing my network, right? And again, like, at the end of the year, I sat down and I literally list down that what actions I have taken so far.
Mm.
And if I keep doing the same thing, it's not going to lead anywhere. And I'm very blessed that I have a very nice coaches with me. I surround myself with the good, great people. And this is highly suggested that if you are facing these kind of issues and you're not able to figure out yourself, have those kind of people surround yourself and have them guide you. So she spoke to me and then she told me, what is the requirement of your business? What does it need? If you're not giving it, you're not going to make it happen. And that's when I realized, I know I have to take action. So I pushed myself out of my comfort zone. I start making calls. And honestly, I'm overwhelmed with the response. Like, people are interested in talking to me. People are interested in meeting me. People wanting to know about what am I doing actually? What is the product? What is the service? How they can buy it? So it all comes down to taking action. Again, if your reason is strong enough and you have that realization, you want to get somewhere and it's really painful, you're in a really painful situation, you don't even think about procrastinating. You just get up and take action. So it does work. It does work. When you push yourself out of your comfort zone, you fight your fears. It's just one step that can take you further. And when you start seeing the results, you get more motivated. Yes, it's working. Yes,
Absolutely.
it's working. So yeah,
Oh yeah, and that's the
that's
best
very
time.
exciting.
The best
Yeah.
time to go and make another sale, or the best time to reach out to someone, is right on the heels of doing it before. Because when you start winning and you're just creating this culture and this, this environment and movement, it's so exciting. So what about you, Lindsay? Have you had an
Yeah.
experience where you kind of stepped out and it paid off for you?
Yeah, I think for me, what was interesting, just reflecting on your question, is, I'm about to launch a book, and that was ripe for procrastination, right? To be writing and whatnot, and there were days where I was like, do I really want to do this? And I think one of the things that really helped me was recognizing, why was I procrastinating? And for me, a lot of it came down to energy. And so writing is a very introverted activity, and I'm a very big extrovert. I really thrive off of being around other people. And so what I found was, if I start to play a little bit with my energy, okay, so we're going to write just for 2 hours, or we're going to write for 20 minutes, whatever it is. And then we're going to phone a friend. Or we're going to get, the other thing that I allude to in my book is completion energy. We're going to go do some laundry. We're going to finish something and feel what it feels like to finish something and get that energy source coursing through us. So I found that for me, being able to, one, be mindful of my energy levels in various ways, and then finding other ways to augment, kind of got me back into that productivity mode and out of procrastination mode, because really all I needed was just another source of energy.
It's so important too when we learn those things about ourselves, because what may work for someone else may not work for you at all. And I think a lot of times that we can get into comparisons, or we can get into, well, this person, they knocked something out in 24 hours and it's taken me 3 weeks, or they did this, in 5 months and it's been 2 years and I'm going at it. And so I find for that reason, or maybe we tried it before and we failed. And so we think, well, it didn't work last time, not going to do it. And I think, Farheen, you kind of touched on this, because I've had so many women that I've worked with where they're like, it's not working, Erica. I have this big vision and I'm trying it, it's not working, but I really love to deal in the specifics. So I'm like, well, what exactly isn't working? Let's look at your schedule each day, and come to find out they're folding the sock drawer. They had the idea, but they haven't even, I'm like, how many people, have you told about this? Oh, well, no one, but I thought about it and I just got overwhelmed in thinking about it. So I think, both of you touched on some really, really good things that we have to look at when it comes to seeing ourselves push past that barrier of procrastination. So what would you say, if you were to say, let's speak to your imaginary best friend or sister or someone that you really care about, and they're like, hey, it's the start of the year, I'm really serious about making that move right now, but I just can't seem to get out of my own way, or maybe they're feeling overwhelmed about figuring out what's the first step I should even take. What advice would you give to that person? Let's start with you, Lindsay.
Yeah. I think one of the first things I might start with is just having that person anchor a little bit more into their purpose. So what's your why? Why does this matter? Why do you need to do this? And I think sometimes starting there again creates a little bit more momentum, because it gets us out of the weeds and more into the pieces of what we're trying to do that are really deep and meaningful. Then once you have the purpose established, it's a little bit higher order. So you're able to say, okay, well, there are a lot of different ways we can go about this then. What might be some of the ways that are most energizing or feel least overwhelming? And let's, like Farheen said, like, just start taking action. Like, what's the littlest action we can take? You want to run a marathon? Great. Buy shoes, right? Is that the smallest action?
Yes.
Right? Like, what's the littlest step that you can take? But if you can connect to, well, I want to run a marathon because I want to support, the Cancer Society and raise money and a friend, then it creates a little bit more momentum and a little bit of that spiritual energy that you were talking about, Erica.
Definitely. And I love that you said that, because that was one of the things that we talked about yesterday, I think, or the day before yesterday. All the days are coming together. But one of those things is really like understanding more often than not, especially for those that are altruistic and you see something bigger than yourself, you understand that oftentimes it's not even about us. So we feel like, oh, no one's going to notice if I don't show up, or I'm not going to send that email. They didn't care anyways. And you don't even realize that on the other side of that action, you are about to bless someone beyond like your wildest imagination, their wildest imagination, just by you being obedient and getting clear, like you said, Lindsay, on the purpose and the why. And in that way, we know we're showing up beyond just how we feel that day. Like there really is an impact that I believe all of us, are called to make. So what about you, Farheen? What's that advice that you would give to that little sister or friend?
100%. Look, I am a big fan of picking up one thing at a time, right? So that one thing that I would advise my sister or my best friend would be, what do you want to become? What is your identity? What do you think people are going to recognize you? Business owner, being an entrepreneur is secondary, but who are you as a woman? What is your identity? The way you want to make impact. And then get really, really good at it. Pick your niche and then get really, really good at it that people can't ignore you. So you're not going to miss out any opportunity. Let's say for fitness, you want to be a fit mom, you want to be a fit entrepreneur because everything is related to your health. So get really good at it and start taking, like Lindsay said, one small baby step that can fit in your schedule, and that's so easy to find out. Do it for 21 days or 2 months or 60 days, and then add second step, then add third step, then add fourth step. So that's how you can, you can have that drive with small little baby step. You can be consistent as well, but it has to be crystal clear in your head. What do you want to become? If it's crystal clear, your identity is there, then work hard to become that person, and rest will come along with it. So that would be my advice.
Yes, you're making me think of so many books. Another book, The One Thing, and that's what it talks about, asking yourself that question. what is the one thing that I can do? And by doing that, it's going to eliminate and or just take care of all the other things. And I think that's just such a good point, because when we can keep it simple, when we can single-handedly focus on something, usually some of the other things that we're concerned about or worried about, or how is that going to happen, they're taken care of just by way of us being a good steward over that. That one area, as you said, Lindsay, y'all just brought the perfect the perfect bow together of connections, that thing that brings you energy. So it's not, I think about even with exercise, sometimes we can feel like, well, I want to get in shape. That means I have to go run the marathon. Well, maybe you can just go to, a dance class or something that you actually enjoy, and you're going to find more consistency that way, and eliminating all the rules around it. So I don't know how the time went by this fast, but it did. So before, we get ready to wrap, I definitely want to learn just a little more about each of you, and how, if someone's watching right now, if they want to learn the next steps and how they can work with you, exactly how can we do that? So let's start with you, Farheen. What's on the horizon for you right now? What are you most excited about, and how can we work with you?
So it's just the start of 2025, and I have big goals for my business as well. So currently, I am in the process of expansion of my business. So if anyone would like to work with me, there is an opportunity of business partnership as well. And also, if you're stuck somewhere in your business, or you are an aspiring entrepreneur, you can reach out to me to my email address. It's Farheen, my first name, at @guidelix, GUIDELIX.com. So so exciting times there. If you want to work with me, shoot me an email, and we'll speak to you soon then.
Awesome. And you said it's your name at Guidelix, GUIDELIX.com?
That's correct. Yes. Perfect.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we will be there and connected. And what about you, Lindsay? What do you have coming up that you're excited about, and how can we get connected with you?
Thank you. I'm super excited about the launch of my upcoming book. Again, Working Hell to Working Well, making your company work for you. And, I'm really on a mission to make work better. So I work with individuals for coaching, I work with teams as well as organizations. And you can find me at barnettcoaching.com. That's probably the easiest way to see what my services are, and find my email there. And also love to connect with people on LinkedIn as well.
I love it. So barnettcoaching.com, you all see that here. And I think it's just so important, because this year, and even as you all see with the 10-10, and I've talked about it, that this is a time the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But in that verse, Jesus talks about coming so we can have life and have it to the fullness and the completeness. And y'all have talked about finishing. You've talked about, I love it, even with your book coming out, Lindsay, getting things in order, because we are just chaotic and people just need help. Like, we got to, get things in order. Farheen, you just come in and bring that structure as well. You both are awesome. I enjoy this, because I feel like y'all kind of just tied everything together perfectly. So if you're watching this right now and you did not catch everything, or maybe you didn't have your notepad out, this is a great time to hit pause and rewind and go back and rewatch and tell a friend and tag a friend, and go to amplifyher.net/1010 event. At the close of the conference, we have some really exciting goodies for you. So if you registered, it pays to register. Now, if you didn't register, you can still stream in live, but if you register, you're going to get some extra perks on the back end. So again, thank you, Powerhouses, for being on tonight for day 6. We are avoiding procrastination. I'm going to keep up. You see barnettcoaching.com. You see Farheen's email right there. So make sure you get connected with them. I see a few of you hopping in. If you're watching live, drop a comment. If you're catching the replay, drop a comment. Keep the algorithm going. And we'll see you tomorrow for day 7.